Hey there, Unitic here, May the 20th. Just wrapped up my first week through West Virginia at 105 miles in that first 7 days, which is about what I was hoping to do as I conditioned myself for these mountains. Just left Parsons, West Virginia, really cool little town. Had a really good morning this morning, running into a lot of nice people. Lucinda, the postmaster in Hendricks, a little town before Parsons. Had a great conversation with her. Charlie, the retired volunteer fire chief from Parsons, who directed me on to a really cool little bike path by the river that saved me from having to road walk for 3 miles. Barbie, who owns a little bakery, Barbie's Bakery in Parsons, who once she found out what I was doing refused to take my money for my order and loaded me up with some delicious goodies, calorie dense, keep me moving forward. And just wonderful way to start the day, connecting with really cool people. Just finished resupplying in Parsons. It's always a catch-22 in the mountains when you're hiking, that the resupplies always come down low by the water in the valleys, and then you immediately got to take that heavy pack and go uphill. Just climbed about 1.5 miles straight up Smoky Hollow Road out of Parsons. For those Louisvillians, my cycling buddies, it would remind you of Doolittle Hill or Barrelton or Pendleton and Jefferson Memorial Forest, just about twice as long as most of those. Anyway, crested, and now I'm going downhill, but it felt like a good time to do this video. So today is Wednesday, May the 20th. A friend of mine from Canada, Luba Williams, who's a really amazing Lyme warrior, an advocate, trying to bring the truth about this epidemic and really sick and twisted things that are being done to extend it as a profit-making and control agenda. Anybody that's watched my videos have gotten clear on my position, and Luba and I definitely share that point of view. Luba found me when I hiked the Appalachian Trail through my videos and such, and has done nothing since but reach out in kindness to me. She sent me some healing supplies on the trail when I got sick with Giardia. She helped promote the hike. She makes these incredible posters, electronic posters that you can share on Facebook. And she's the one that created something she calls Warrior Wednesday on Facebook, where she does posters highlighting some of the very brave and courageous people that are out there on the front lines, be it advocating or be it just trying to take care of their family while they're desperately sick, and many of their family members too. So Luba, this video is dedicated to you in honor of Warrior Wednesday. Luba and I exchanged some emails because I told her I'd like to start something maybe called Truth Tuesday, and she offered to help put together posters for me if I provide her content on Tuesdays from the trail and talk about things that need the light of truth. Talk about topics that are surrounded by lies and misinformation, which seems so common in this day and age, that need a little truth telling. So hopefully we'll do that coming up as I get into the rhythm of this hike. I'm into my second month now, over 400 miles, and I'll be in Ohio in probably about 10 days or so. But today I wanted to honor some warriors. Luba being one of them. Another one I want to honor is my partner in crime in this Trek for Truth, my buddy Drew Allgaier. Drew's the behind-the-scenes member of this team. I tend to be in front of the camera more, but he's the one that's taken all my daily trail journal entries, videos, pictures, along with some of his really excellent and entertaining commentary, and makes these weekly summaries he puts up on our website, Trek for Truth, F-O-R, trekfortruth.org. Hope you'll consider subscribing When you do, you'll just get an email maybe once or twice a week when those summaries are ready or a new video is posted. There's a lot of really good, truthful information on that website on topics that the more we know the facts, the more empowered we are as individuals to decide how we want to live our individual and our community lives. So Drew, this one's for you too, buddy. Drew's a former Marine. I'm former Army, and Drew's last weekly summary made the observation, it was kind of interesting, that his military occupational specialty, MOS it's called, was in logistics, in moving people and things and getting them where they need to be in order for an army to be successful. My military occupational specialist was a forward observer, so I was the eyes on the front line of the artillery, and my job was to be as far forward on a battlefield as possible, reporting back what I'm seeing and being kind of the eyes of the combat troops. I'd always be with an infantry platoon embedded with them, so I could call in artillery fire when they needed it. And that's kind of, Drew's point was, that's kind of the role we're playing in Trek for Truth. He's working behind the scenes, making sure I've got everything I need to keep me moving down the trail. Thank you, Drew, you're doing a heck of a job. And I'm out here on the front, reporting what I'm seeing, showing you what I'm seeing. I'm sharing conversations I'm having with people, which to me is what this is all about. Let these cars get by here. You know, the conversations I had with Barbie in her bakery and Lucinda in her post office were about freedom, quite honestly. You know, to me, this walk across the country is an expression of freedom. That, what am I doing in the land of the free, home of the brave, except walking across my land, expressing my freedom to do so. But a part of my message, a part of what Drew and I talk about, is that those freedoms seem to be evaporating quickly. And it's not random and it's not by chance. It's happening with an agenda and with some very, very organized people behind it. People that thrive on control, power, wealth, megalomania. People who live from their ego, that false sense of self. And I honestly would not be surprised whether in my lifetime I couldn't do something like this again, say 20 years from now, without travel papers to move from one segment of the country to another. It sounds crazy to most Americans, but that's exactly the arc that many other countries have taken in the past, many other constitutional republics that degenerated into tyranny and became oligarchies, dictatorships. You could make a very, very strong case right now that we already are a corporate oligarchy, a country run from behind the scenes by a tiny number of unelected corporate uber wealthy that pull all the strings in the political arena, at least at the national level. So Drew and I share that observation and share a lot of our philosophies and our ways of being, and we're two ex-military members, fathers. He's got 2 teenage sons still at home. Mine's entering his senior year in college, and we don't really like what we see potentially unfolding for their future and our grandchildren's future. And that's every bit as much, if not more, the theme of this project, we call it, as advocating for Lyme disease. They're not separate topics. All of these patterns and pathologies around control, profit, lying are expressions of individual egos and collective egos out of control. And the people I'm meeting on this trail embody just the opposite of that, and they are the majority of people by far in our country and around the world. Decent, compassionate, empathetic people that just want a decent life for themselves and their family, health, fun, and creative expression, and they just want that for other people too. And that's what I want to remember and share. There's tremendous power in that, and we are by far the majority of people in this world. So we literally, as so many great leaders, spiritual truth tellers have told us in the past, we literally have all the power. We just have to realize it and reclaim it. And Drew's one of my heroes with regard to that, because he speaks his truth, even if it makes his family and friends sometimes uncomfortable, even if it makes other people point fingers at him and question his sanity. You know, there's a great expression that I posted on Facebook: in a time of universal deception, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And usually those that are willing to put themselves out there and tell the truth and say the emperor has no clothes are first ridiculed and put down by the herd. There's safety in the herd, but there's not freedom in the herd. Freedom of individual expression, freedom in any sense of the word. So Drew's definitely a role model for me for that. Drew's also had some military experiences far beyond logistics in seeing the darker sides of our government. He worked in security in the embassy system as a Marine, and he later went to work for an intelligence contractor. And he's shared all this, and he's given me permission to talk about it. And he's witnessed up close and personal, both in Russia and in other stations around the world, the darker side of operatives supposedly operating at the behest of our elected officials, our government. But these actually are folks from what some people refer to as our national security state, the shadow government, those that operate behind the scenes and really pull the strings, doing things to others that are completely immoral, inhuman by most people's definition. And it really put him off so much that it lit a fire in him to try and do something about it. And I admire that so much, and I feel so thankful, honored, and blessed to have somebody of Drew's caliber throwing his lot in with mine and just trying to do something. Just trying to have a conversation with people, do whatever we can to get topics, big picture topics, talked about in whatever way, shape, or form we can. You know, I've mentioned some other great warriors, Alan Weisbecker. Let me tell you a couple of others, more prominent public figures that Drew and I both admire. Richard Grove, I've talked about before. TragedyandHope.com. Really impressed with Richard's work with a new media organization, getting real information out there, not contrived corporate agenda information that's coming through the mainstream media, not purely fear-based information for the sake of scaring people with an end in mind, but putting facts out there that sometimes are a bit scary and off-putting, but ultimately are very empowering. I really want to encourage folks to check those organizations out. And I have one other guy, another former Marine. Let me pause this for just a second. This car passes.